we've obviously looked at feedback and the importance of it. So, and I've obviously highlighted kind of making sure that you check your feedback and use an action plan. So I thought it was really important to give you a little bit of an overview actually from the online submission, where you actually obtain your feedback and the different methods and mechanisms within Turnitin that you can use. Or your lecturer may have different approaches to giving feedback. Some may use rubrics, some may use comments, or write out key words or key different elements. So it's really important to know where you can actually access. The screen record you're going to see is obviously from my lecturer perspective. It will look slightly different in terms of you won't have all the headings, but it will be very similar. So it's not, you will still be able to find all the key elements. So as you can see here on screen, this is a piece of students' work. And what you'll find is that we will use these comment banks to basically drag and drop comments into your work. So for example, if there was some issue with Harvard referencing, I could drag that into your work. Please adhere to the system. And what your lecturer might do, they might make some notes to say, make sure you use secondary citation. Okay, and save it. So when you review your work, there will be key comments which possibly have been dragged and dropped across your work. It could be, you know, just simple things like referencing, or it might actually go into more detail about, you know, where you need to improve, what you've done well, and so forth. So they'll pick out key elements within your assessment. As you'll see here on the right hand side, there's a grade, so obviously the marking grade for that piece of work. So this is obviously where you access that. The other elements that you're going to need to kind of access within your work when you receive your feedback on Turnitin is these key little tabs down the bottom here. If I click into that one, this is where lecturers can actually write key comments about your piece of work. And this is probably where they're going to add a bit more of individual comments about your assessment that you've submitted. The other tool you might see is voice comments. So as a lecturer, we can actually record and explain. So rather than us typing this out, we can actually record the information and you're able to listen to it. Students quite like this mechanism. The other element is a comments list, which you can link to the kind of key comments on screen. So if I click on that, it'll tell me where, on what pages and what comments I've got. So it's just a kind of basic overview of all the comments that have been included from that question mark tool at the start. And then the final one, this is a tool I use quite a lot. Some lecturers don't, so it's just making sure and you're aware of which approaches each lecturer uses. This is actually a rubric. So this is from my perspective of what I see. So I'm able to give grades and marks for each section of people's work. When you obtain your feedback via rubric, what you will see is not all this list of numbers. It will just be the grade that I've given you. So what you'll see is for this first section, which the student has done, was the introduction. You'll see the mark of 65, which is what it was. And obviously you can see down here in this blue box, when I hover over it, there's some key comments about why that's a 65% or why that's a mark. Sometimes these rubrics, these lines will be in out of 100, sometimes they'll be out of 10. It's just dependent on how your lecturer set it up and what they're marking it out of. So in terms of feedback, there's lots of obviously different elements and areas of obtaining feedback from your work. Each lecturer will have a slightly different approach, so it's just being aware and making sure that you access all elements to kind of obtain all the key comments related to your work. Hopefully this little video has given you a good idea and overview of how to obtain and use Turnitin to get your feedback. As I've said, using your feedback is closing that learning loop and is really important about improving your performance in future assessments.